Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 96. Today we are talking with Carla Giacolone from the 501st, the Northeast Remnant, and the Devaron base. So, welcome to the show, Carla.
Hi, everyone.
And with us, as always, the incomparable, the wonderful, the illustrious Miss Heather Allred.
Hey, everybody.
And unfortunately, not with us today is Mr. Todd Hoffman. That's right. He is tucked away safely, frozen in carbonite for the time being until he can come back next week. But yep. So send your love and regards to him, and he will be back in no time. But in the meantime, you can check us out on social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. You can leave us a note about your favorite Star Wars celebration. And if you leave that, we'll read it or play it on the air. And now you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss our next live episode. That's youtube.com/WSTR Media. And as always, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Listen, it's a smart thing to read books. Nobody reads books anymore. In 1984, they thought they would ban books, burn them, so nobody would read them. Brave New World, they thought people would be way too entertained and stricken with pleasure so that they would never read books. And looks like we've got a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B going on with today's world. But Audible's like, wait, books are too important. You need to read books, but nobody has time to read books. So what do? Well, what if I told you could have a service where people read books to you while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're doing laundry, taking care of the kiddos, whatever you're doing, you could be reading with Audible. So it is a audiobook service with over 425,000 titles to choose from. And for you, the listeners of the WSTR podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out this magic wonder of a service. Seriously, just think about it for a little bit, what technology can bring us and what kind of day and age we live in today, where you could just have people read you books for free. So to get your free audiobook trial today, go to audibletrial.com/WSTR. That's audibletrial.com/WSTR. Free 30-day trial of their service. You get 1 credit for a free book. And hey, if you hate the service, you absolutely despise it, you're like, curse WSTR and all of their recommendations, guess what? You can cancel the subscription, no questions asked, and you get to keep whatever book you pick. So that is audibletrial.com/WSTR. And this episode is brought to you by our merch store over at teespring.com/stores/WSTR Media. That's teespring.com/stores/WSTR Media. We have got mugs. We've got t-shirts, tank tops.
Yes.
And now, I think we've got stickers too. But then now,
yes,
we've got hoodies. So you wanna cuddle up with your cats next to the fire on a cold night and warm up and stay cozy while you listen to your Audible book that you got by visiting audibletrial.com/WSTR. You can do that. And you can support your locally favorite, organically grown, free range podcast. That's right. teespring.com/stores/WSTR Media. And now let's get right on to the show. Heather, what have we got for the news of the week coming up?
Yeah, so here's some teasers for you. We're going to talk about Clone Wars. Monsieur JJ has a new nickname called The Fixer.
Ooh.
And this is the droid you're looking for.
Uh-huh.
And many Bothans,
Yes.
died.
Bothans. Yes.
I felt like I needed to say that with a British accent. The Bothans.
The Bothans.
They did die to bring you this information, so I'll let you sit on that for a little while.
Oh, man.
Todd, why'd you write this?
Oh, man.
On to our main topic.
And now for our feature presentation.
Okay, so we have our special guest, Carla Giacolone from the 501st and the Northeast Remnant and Devaron base. So, welcome to our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Thank you for being here. So, let's get into it. A little bit of background first. Why Star Wars? What got you into that? Why do you like it so much?
So, started for me when I was about like 6 or 7. My aunt was really into Star Wars, and I can just remember her, always having the movies on, always watching them with her together. And I just loved it, from the first time I ever saw it. And ever since then, it's just been a huge part of my life. My whole family loves it. My boyfriend loves it. And it's just a big part of everything that I do. And especially working with kids, kids love Star Wars. Who doesn't love Star Wars?
Yep.
So it's just part of everything that I do. And I don't know, you just feel like you're part of one big family. And I think that's what's the coolest part about it. And it's timeless,
That's really cool.
For sure.
Yeah, we were talking before the show. You're a psychologist for a elementary school. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. School psychologist.
So I bet you see Star Wars all over the place there.
Yeah. Oh, Halloween. It was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
I went in my Princess Leia, and all the kids were walking by. They were like, oh my God.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So did your work influence your decision to join the 501st?
Not really. The 501st was kind of something that happened a little bit later on after the whole career decision. But it definitely ties together. I always tell, the school that I'm at, hey, if you guys have an event or something coming up, let us know. We can try to get in there for you. So always trying to spread the word and, get people involved.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Very cool.
So it was the 501st first, and then that's kind of branched out into working with kids and the connections there and everything. So for people who've listened to our show for a long time, the 501st are our friends. But for people who might be tuning in for the first time now, what is the 501st? What are they about, and what do they do?
So the 501st Legion is a nonprofit Star Wars costuming group. We are officially sanctioned by Lucasfilm, so everything we do is volunteer. We don't make any money off of it. Everybody makes, their own costumes, and we do everything for charity and community events. So whether it be hospital visits, we do a lot of library troops here, and, conventions, the bigger events, stuff like that. But most of it is based around giving back to the community, to, children who might be sick or ill. And it's just, again, it's one big family, and, we love it because everybody loves dressing up. So why not, do it while giving back? And we have so much fun. So
that's awesome.
It's a good time.
That's great. You can totally hear the excitement in your voice, and that makes me really happy.
So how did you get started with that?
So it was last year. Yeah, last year. I went to a smaller convention here in New Jersey. It's called East Coast Comic Con. And this was right after Celebration Orlando. That's when I started getting into the whole costuming thing. And I walked by their booth, and one of the guys, he was like, whoa, Leia, hey, come over here. You got to take some pictures with us. So he was in his Vader. They had Boba Fett. And then they told me, they were like, you got to come back in like an hour. Chewbacca's coming back later. So I was like, okay. And then one thing led to another. I was asking questions. And it turned out that one of the members was actually a neighbor of mine, small
Really?
world.
Wow.
And and I was like, hey, how do I get involved? Sign me up. So, and the rest is history.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So you started then as Princess Leia for your first.
No, my first costume was actually a Imperial officer.
Okay.
So I have the black uniform, and then Princess Leia came after that.
Okay.
Excellent.
And now, to Princess Leia and like the good guy characters, those are a separate organization, right?
Yes. So that's the Rebel Legion. But it's basically the same thing. We do the charity community work. And here in New Jersey, so we have the Northeast Remnant Garrison. That's the 501st side. And then on the Rebel Legion side, we have Devaron Base. We're actually fairly new, Devaron Base. We're actually on our probation period right now. So, but we'll be official soon. I think towards the end of the month. So, but we do a lot of events together here. A lot of our members are dual, so both sides. And we're just lucky to be, that cohesive to where we can always have the good and the bad there because everybody loves to see all those different characters.
Right. So now Northeast Remnant and Devaron Base, those are like chapters of the 501st, you could say?
Yes.
Okay. What areas do those cover?
So those are just for New Jersey.
Just for New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah. We used to be more spread out along the East Coast. I think like at one point, the Northeast Remnant was New York and New Jersey, and then like a part of Pennsylvania. But being that the organization is growing so much and there's so many members that just geographically it makes sense to kind of have, your own group for, your own state or dividing the state, into however many areas that you want. But I know a lot of the bigger states will also break up into different squads too. So I know like Texas is the Star Garrison and they have all different squads all over.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on where you are, but the Northeast Remnant and Devaron Base is just for New Jersey.
Right. And that's interesting because we have the Midwest Garrison, which I believe first covered Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin. Until Indiana split off, they got big enough and they formed the Bloodfin Garrison. And then Ohio declared independence too. But, there's still 220 members across, 3 states now?
Wow. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you've got your entire organization is just New Jersey.
Yeah, we actually we've seen a huge amount of growth within the past year. I think also too, with Disney picking it up and everything, there's just been so many people wanting to join. And I think the Northeast Remnant, I think we have over 80 members now, about something like that. And then Devaron's, I believe, around 40, creeping up to 50. So we're getting there. We're climbing up.
Right on.
Yeah.
Slowly taking over the world, or at least New Jersey. Yeah. Very cool. So run us through your 501st characters.
Sure. So I have the staff officer, which is the black uniform. And then my other 501st costume is my Jawa, which is actually, I think it's one of my favorite costumes that I wear because I get to just mess with people and just be goofy. And that's all I have right now for the 501st side. I don't have any armor or bucketed characters. I'm very short, so to do the stormtrooper or anything like that, I don't know. I don't want to hear aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper all the time?
That'll get old real quick.
But even just to get, the kits and everything, it would just be a lot of work to get it to fit me. So I stick to the soft parts.
Sure. That makes sense. And then what about the Rebel Legion?
And Rebel Legion is Princess Leia in her dress scene as in A New Hope, and Rey from The Force Awakens in her scavenger outfit. And then my Jawa is actually dual, so it can go both ways.
But probably more fun is the 501st.
Yeah.
Well, everybody wants
Stealing
to be the bad
droids.
guy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my dream, Carla. I want to be a Jawa so bad.
Yes, you need to do it.
I just can't get my life pulled together to, I know. I should like book a weekend trip out to New Jersey and you can like help a girl out or something. I don't know.
Are you trying to make it on your own, or are you looking to have it commissioned? Because mine is actually commissioned.
Yeah. So the few people that I've talked to in the Midwest garrisons, a lot of them said if you have the ability to do it yourself, give it a shot. It's actually not that difficult. Sometimes it's hard to find someone to commission it, just if they're working on other things. So I would love to try and do it myself. But then at the same time, life is busy and I've had a semi-traumatic year. So there's a part of me that's like, can someone else just do it? And then I will just give them money. So we'll see.
I actually, most of my right now I'm working on Jin, but most of my costumes I either have commissioned or like I'll buy the parts already made and then I work to modify it to make it, either 501st or Rebel Legion approved.
Sure.
Because I'm not a seamstress. I barely know how to sew. I'm better with working like the props. Like my Ray staff, I built that all myself. But when it comes to sewing, tailoring, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I usually have my soft costumes commissioned by somebody.
Sure.
But if you want, I can give you some suggestions of some good makers for sand people out there.
So I'm going to take you up on that offer.
What kind of specifications do you need to meet for a Jawa costume? Because it seems pretty simple, but knowing the 501st, nothing is ever simple.
It is one of the more simpler costumes. It's just basically the brown robe, like a monk's cloth robe, and then the hood has to be separate from the robe, which a lot of people don't know. It looks like it's all one piece. And then underneath is you can just get, I bought like cheap $12 Amazon knockoff Ugg boots, and then you just wrap it with the same monk's cloth fabric. And then the mask can be, mine is like half of a plastic hockey mask with a thin black mesh, and then the eyes just sit like right on my cheekbones. So,
you mean like the glowing eyes underneath the hood?
the glowing eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, the LED eyes. So it's one of the more simpler ones, but again, like you said, it's the 501st. You never know what you're getting into, even if it looks really simple.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Yeah. So very cool.
Why did you start with the Imperial officer as your first costume?
So that was kind of like the default get approved costume. It's one of the more easier ones to do because you can find it through different vendors online, and then you just make the small modifications. So I pretty much did that one just to get approved and start trooping and going to events. And then I figured once I do that, I think I can then work on Princess Leia, because that was my number one. I was like, I have to do Leia. So, yeah.
Have you found the 501st to be pretty helpful as far as getting you started?
Oh yeah. Everybody that I've met has just been really cool, super helpful. they're always open to any questions that anybody has. Even now, I'm like, guys, what do I do? I don't know what I'm doing. And, they're always there to lend a hand. So we all help each other out in any way that we can. We all come from, so many different talents, and it's just cool when we all get to collaborate and build things together.
Cool. How often do you get to troop?
It depends. Now more so just like weekends every now and then, but during the summertime it was a lot. I was doing more during the week. And then it depends too, like when the conventions are going on and when the busy season for trooping is going on. Right now we're kind of at a little bit of a lull because Thanksgiving's coming up. But really it's mostly during the summertime. That's when we get a lot of our events.
Very cool. So what's been your favorite troop?
Ooh, it's a tough one. I gotta say, it was last year, or was it this? No, it was this year actually. We did a troop for the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra. Oh. They did a whole John Williams sci-fi concert, and the majority of it was Star Wars. So we got to hang out in the lobby. We took pictures with everybody that was there. And then we got to watch part of the show too, which was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
I think that was definitely my favorite. And then the other one that was really exciting was the New Jersey Devils Star Wars night that they do. That was cool. I got to walk out onto the ice and everything. Our Chewbacca got to go on the Zamboni. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Even though I'm a Rangers fan, but they don't know that. So.
No one needs to know.
You want to be invited back, don't you?
Yeah.
Your secret's safe with us. So for the symphony, was there a good turnout for that troop?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. We had Vader. My boyfriend did Kylo. We had an Imperial Guard. I was Leia. Couple of stormtroopers. Yeah, it was cool.
Wow. So your boyfriend's a member too?
Excuse me.
Yes, that's actually how we met.
Oh, really? Tell us about that.
Yeah. We have a dinner every year where all the members come together. We hang out. And I met him there and then just got to talking. One thing led to another, and we've been together for a little over a year now.
Oh, wow. So, well, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Very cool.
So, backing up a bit, how would you say Star Wars has influenced you and your family over time? You mentioned that your parents kind of got you started in on it, and then it just kind of proceeded from there. So, what did that look like growing up and with your family now?
So, well, it was my aunt that actually got me into it.
Sorry.
So my mom likes it. My dad actually does not he doesn't know anything about it. He's not into it. I've tried. I'm like, Dad, just please try it. He's like, nope, I'm not watching it. I'm not into it. Not interested. I'm like, okay. But, so it's my aunt, my mom, my sister's pretty into it. My brother, not so much. But I've definitely seen it just grow into a tradition for my family. Like every Thanksgiving, we always pick one movie and we watch it together. I remember when The Force Awakens, when the first teaser was released, I'll never forget. It was the day after Thanksgiving, and we were at, like a brunch that morning, and I was with my cousin's son, so my second cousin, and he was maybe like 5 or 6 at the time. And he just kept saying, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I'm like, I know. I want to get out of this place so we could go watch it. But it was just so cool because we turned it on, we're waiting, and it was my aunt, my cousin, me, and her son. And just to sit there and see so many generations be so excited about this one thing. I get choked up, just talking about it. It's just, I don't know, it's just such a cool thing that brings family and friends together. And I think that's what I love about it. the most is just the community that it creates.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a mysterious thing how it's this unifying force across generation, no pun intended, unifying force across generations and different walks of life and everything. And it's my cynical self would just say that it's clever marketing and consumerism, but that's not quite right. And there's something more to it. And that's really what we love to talk about whenever we have guests on the podcast, because it's like, what is that certain thing that kind of unifies everything? And for you, it seems like that's just kind of shared experience among family members that is meaningful to you and that you're all experiencing at the same time together.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Even like when the Force Awakens came out, I remember I like rounded up like 20 of my friends. I was like, guys, we all got to go together. Everybody buy tickets for this time. We had like almost like, I think like half of the theater filled up. It was a big group. And I think that just made it even more exciting. Cause like you're sitting there and you see a long time ago and you're like, ooh, this is it. That's that to me, like that is what it's all about is the build up, the excitement. And then it's like, oh my God, it's here. And then everyone's cheering, clapping, crying, that's what I love most about it. It's just the love and excitement for it all.
Yeah. You're going on a journey together.
Exactly.
Totally.
That's awesome. So, what has you excited about Star Wars in the future, looking ahead?
Well, I'm definitely excited for episode 9. I think I'm actually excited to see how they're going to go with the books. I'm big on reading all of the canon books right now. I'm trying to play catch up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. audibletrial.com/WSTR.
But I like the books because they fill in a lot of things that, either the movies or even the TV shows, don't really explain too much, especially with that gap between, Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Like what happened between, those years. And I think, some of the books are doing a good job of filling in that timeline. I'm excited for The Mandalorian. I can't wait to see what that turns out to be like. And I'm actually excited too about I don't know if it's a trilogy that they were getting, but the writers of Game of Thrones.
Yes, they're getting a trilogy.
Is it a trilogy? Mm-hmm. Oh man. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan too, so yeah. I'm hoping, I mean, I don't know if Disney's going to go this route, but I'm hoping it's Old Republic because I just think that would fit perfectly with what they've done, seeing Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. So fingers crossed. I mean, not trying to get my hopes up, but I just think that would be really, really cool.
Well, there's so much untapped potential there in the thousands of years between the Old Republic and the original trilogy. So, and we could see like dynasties rise and fall, and there's so many different locations and time periods and different alien groups and everything. So it seems something that it would be a good choice for the Game of Thrones creators to operate in that dimension. But will they or won't they? Who knows?
Yeah, I just think. I mean, I don't know. I think on their end, it would be more of a smarter move because so many fans are asking for it. And I think it's more of like, our generation, the older generation, because we had the Legends books, the Old Republic stories and everything. And I don't know if you guys play the mobile game Galaxy of Heroes.
I haven't. I do have a friend who has lost so much time and money to that game.
I refuse to pay anything for that game.
Good.
I do everything for free. It's taken me a long time, but I'm getting there. but they've been introducing a lot of Old Republic characters, and I'm like, why would they be doing
where's
this?
this coming from? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be really cool too, though, for people like myself who have only been a movie Star Wars person for so long, and I've not delved into the books or the video games and that kind of stuff. For people who've proven themselves to be amazing writers and storytellers to then introduce a new element of Star Wars to us in an avenue that we're familiar with or more accepting of. Those were air quotes for the people listening. So I do think that would be really cool to bring that in. But
yeah. And there's so many great stories. I mean, I know they, the whole like the Legends books, like it's not canon anymore. But I mean, they've been pulling some storylines, characters. So who knows? I mean, I just think that would be really cool, knowing the style of writing that I think David and David, both their names are David. Yeah. I just think that would be, perfect for them. So I'm very excited for that.
I mean, it's not a bad strategy. Just cordon off all the Legends stuff and just sift through it and pick the best from the top, and that's what you use.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them. Whatever you think of them declaring what's canon and not canon, but yeah, there's, like I said before, there's so much untapped potential that I'd love to see what they come up with. So given that, what would you say is your favorite Star Wars movie so far, and why?
Ooh. Talking about just like the new ones, or just like overall, all of them?
Any of them.
Overall.
So I have like a rotating top three. It just depends. It's either between A New Hope, Rogue One, and Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
But out of the new ones, Rogue One is like, yes, like my favorite. The last 5 minutes of that movie just had me in my seat like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah. It was definitely a crowd pleaser, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yes. It felt like we were finally seeing Darth Vader for all of his potential that he was meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was certainly something special. What else did you like about Rogue One?
I really liked how they threw in the little like nuances of the old, but it wasn't overkill. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're on Jeddah and he walks into Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba, and it was just like a quick like second, like oh, watch yourself. Just the little things like that. I think that's how I think that's a good way to really tie it all together, where you're bringing all these new characters, aliens, locations, planets, but then you're also bringing in the old so that, the original fans are like, hey, I know that. I've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought it was really well done.
That's good.
Excellent. Yeah.
For some reason, the spin-off movies have seem to have done better as far as crowd reception than the mainline sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And I really wonder why that is. My first guess would be that just because they're allowed to take more risks than the mainline ones, but then you point to The Last Jedi, and that was like the biggest risk taker of all the movies.
Yeah.
The very split reception on that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I was Solo. I was a little worried because you're dealing with such an iconic character.
Yeah.
So I tried going in with no expectations for it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like I came out, I was like, hey, like it was fun. I liked it. Definitely totally different from Rogue One, but I thought it was done very well. And think that Alden, I can never pronounce his name.
Ehrenreich?
Yeah,
that guy.
That guy. I think he did a great job. He took Harrison Ford's Han Solo and then kind of like made it his own thing. And I was worried about that because it's Han Solo, but I think he nailed it. And Donald Glover was perfect. That was just like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fun story. I didn't think it needed to be anything super serious. I liked how they showed the Kessel Run and all that. And then, of course, Emilia Clarke being in it as Daenerys. I was like, yay. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun. So.
Excellent.
Well, good. Tell us about your next cosplay. What's that going to be? What have you got your eyes on?
So right now I am working on my Jin. She's taking some time because she has a lot of details that you would never know are there. I'm working on the vest. That's quite a project. A friend of mine, Jen, she's in the Echo base, which is the Rebel Legion base for New York. I call her like the Jin guru because she has every version of Jin. So she's been helping me out with that. So that one, and then I'm thinking after Jin, either Endor Leia or Huttslayer Leia, but I'm not sure.
Excellent.
Hopefully by Celebration. Jin will be done by Celebration, but
perfect.
Yeah.
So
now, when you start,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say when you so you're working on Jin right now. What preparation goes into that? Like, are you watching the movie a bunch of times? Are you just looking at screenshots to kind of become that character, so to speak?
So I actually go off of this website, blanking on the name specifically, but it's like Star Wars HD screenshots.com or something like that. And they have every movie and it's frame by frame HD photos.
What?
Yeah.
Aaron's like, I'm leaving. I have to have other things to do.
I have important things to do.
So it's a really good resource to look at the details for costumes. Like I know I was looking up on the Jin thread about the necklace that she wears, and in the the CRL, which stands for Costume Reference Library, under hers it says clear crystal on leather thread with no like inscription. I'm like, wait a minute, what? If you look at the screenshot, there actually is a little inscription on the crystal. And I showed it on the thread and everyone was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So I don't know if they changed. Probably didn't. But some things like that you can, usually pass with. But yeah, she's just, there's so many details to her costume. Like in the vest, she has a bunch of horizontal stitching, going across. And then I never knew there are 2 vertical stitches going down on each side. So I had to hand stitch that part myself.
Oh, what a headache.
Yeah. And having never stitched before, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't screw this up.
Yeah. Wow.
But I did good. So
hey,
there you
details
go.
matter.
Yep.
Totally. It definitely brings I totally blanked on the word I was trying to do, guys. Whoosh, there it went.
Respect.
It legitimizes the costuming. I mean, it legitimizes the 501st and the Rebel Legion that you are putting in this time and energy so that not only is that diehard fan going to be like, good on you, but that little kid's going to see you and you're going to see the Star Wars magic in their eye.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, cool.
It's a good thing, but then it's also kind of a bad thing sometimes because then you're like, oh yeah, I want to do this costume. And then you're like, oh gosh, like what am I getting myself into? And then you just pick apart every little thing. Like, I feel like now any costume I do from now on, I'm like, okay, well, here we go. I have to look at all the little details. But no, it's fun. And then once it's finished and you put it on, and then like you said, you see the reaction from adults and kids alike, it makes it all worth it.
Totally. Very cool.
So why should someone consider joining the 501st?
So I would say, I mean, if you love Star Wars, of course, but also too, you know, if you want to give back to the community, give back to others, you know, do something for a great cause, I would say, you know, definitely look into it. It's not as unattainable as people might think it is. I was certainly intimidated at first because, like I said, I don't know anything about sewing or anything like that. But, you know, there are a lot of people out there that will help you and, you know, give you the resources that you need to put a costume together, whether, you know, it's a stormtrooper, an officer, Princess Leia, you know, it's really a family. And you meet so many great people. I mean, they're, you know, like my second family. I mean, it's awesome. And you get that connection, no matter where you go. I went to Iceland in February with my boyfriend, and we actually met up with the Icelandic outpost out there.
Really?
I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. But we met up with them, and it's just like, you've never met these people before, but just because you're part of the same group, you already have that connection. So it's just really cool. I don't know. It's an awesome thing to be a part of. And I always loved, you know, talking about it, promoting it. I'm actually the PR. I'm on the PR team for both Devaron Base and the 501st NER. So I do the Instagram and Facebook. So I'm always throwing things out there. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So come join us.
Yeah. Well, one last thing. Star Wars Celebration. That's coming up in the spring. It's going to be in Chicago. You going to be there?
Yes, I will.
Wow.
I'm so excited.
Well, look us up once you're there.
Yeah, definitely. Would love to meet you guys. That would be awesome. So
you've been to Star Wars Celebration before, yes?
Yes. I went to Celebration Orlando last year. That was my first one. And it was amazing. Just totally immersed in all of it. It was probably the best 4 days of my life.
Oh, wow. All 4 days.
Yeah. I said, I got to go big or go home.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
So tell us. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm more excited for this year because I actually wasn't Legion last year. So I'm excited to see the Legion side of things this time around.
You'll get access to the secret club. Head past the velvet rope. And
that's right.
Get all this secret cool stuff we can't see.
That's right.
So why should someone go to Celebration?
I would say just to, meet and talk with other people who love Star Wars just as much as you do. If you want to join, a group like the 501st, or if you just do your own thing with your costumes and you want to, show it off to everybody, I would say, it's a pretty good reason to. Also, too, we'll probably get an episode 9 trailer. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Autographs, too, meeting the celebrities. That's always a big thing. And, just to be part of the camaraderie of it all.
Right.
It's just so exciting. Like, the energy is just, it's so cool. Like, you really feel like there's a force in the room. It's awesome.
It's exciting.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks again, Carla, for joining the show today and sharing a bit of your Star Wars life with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Stick around. We're going to go through the news of the week, starting right now.
And now, the Star Wars news of the week.
So Heather, what have we got on
right.
the docket today?
Yeah, so it looks like according to CBR.com, Star Wars The Clone Wars was canceled. It was getting really graphic. Following Disney's 2012 acquisition of Lucasfilm, because the fan favorite animated series was getting too graphic, it got canceled, and this was per Boba Fett's voice actor Daniel Logan. Let's see. It goes on to say, Disney, they canceled it. I think it was getting a little too graphic. Actually, it was getting really graphic. Boba was doing some really, really cool stuff. He started actually becoming a bounty hunter. I guess it was just getting too graphic for Disney, and they'd actually recorded 7 episodes and they didn't get aired. So they're out there, people. Go find them.
I walked away in the Disney vault.
Yeah.
So what do we think about this? I know we've talked in the past about Disney and getting more adult than kid friendly. How do we feel about this for those who've seen the Clone Wars or haven't? Aaron?
Well,
Thoughts?
I haven't seen too much, but from what I have seen, from what they're saying, it definitely does seem a lot more kid friendly at the beginning of the show. And I think it's one of those things that just gets a life of its own, and it was venturing out into territory that maybe it should have been to start with, or maybe it shouldn't have gone out in that territory. I don't know. But at any rate, it was probably changing from what Disney really wanted in the first place. And so, yeah, they have every right to terminate it like that. But kind of a shame that there's 7 episodes out there that no one will ever see. And as a rule, I don't like it when an artist's vision for something has to unnecessarily be restricted. And so it is a shame that something like this happens, but it's understandable. And I think they're kind of getting a chance to atone for that with like basically approving one last season of the Clone Wars. So we'll just have to see what kind of direction they take it.
Totally. Carla, you've watched Clone Wars then?
So I actually haven't watched it all the way through.
Okay.
But I can definitely see what they're talking about, where it was just getting, too dark, too graphic for the kids. I feel like it's so hard because they are really marketing it towards, the younger age groups. But then you also have the older fans who want to see more of that, that grittiness, without it being, too graphic for the little ones. So I could see, why they would pull the plug, but it's hard to find that middle ground,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So, all right. Well, who knows? Maybe in a year we'll be discussing those 7 episodes. We'll see how that plays out. Aaron.
Yes, this comes
What do you know about JJ?
This comes from Cinema Blend. JJ Abrams is reportedly trying to fix Star Wars issues through episode 9. So looks like JJ Abrams is reportedly hoping to change the narrative, put the franchise back on a better course. He is continuing to make massive deals, and a new report by Variety alleges that he's been tasked with putting the ultra-popular space opera back on track. So we don't have any details how this might come about, but it should be fascinating to see how it continues to grow and change. So it looks like he's putting Star Wars through some kind of course correction, and we don't really know how that's going to come about. Maybe he'll bring things back to basics and tell a bit more of a classic story rather than a subversive one like The Last Jedi. And with the Solo movie being a victim of behind-the-scenes dramatics, Abrams should also bring a more focused and relaxed set. So what are our thoughts on that? Heather?
Well, I always say it's a lot to ask one human being to save anything.
Yes.
You can't really do that to a person. There is definitely a team that goes behind it, and I think it goes back to a lot of, again, I'm a very Pollyanna, Hufflepuff kind of lady, where, you know, their fiction, or how do they put it, space opera, that it's a story, and they're actors and they're doing something that they love. They're filmmakers telling a story, but to the diehards and the people who don't want anything to happen to their precious original trilogy, you know, hopefully JJ is able to bring that baseline back, or the excitement that the original Force Awakens trailer provided to like re-invite you back into that world. I just hope they're not putting too much expectation on him to actually fix it. That's my concern. I think that's my biggest response is calm down. We're all going to be okay. And don't put that kind of pressure on one human being. And BB-8's going to be there, so it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, because it seems like ideally what they should have done is plan all this out from the beginning, get all on the same page, and then go from there. But to have basically a soft reboot with one film, and then a really subversive second film, and then to try to fix that with the third film, it feels like you're running with a limp, and I really don't know how successful that can be. But I don't know. JJ has done one Star Wars film already. Maybe he knows what he's doing. So, for sure. Carla, any thoughts on this?
I always find that I'm like stuck right in the middle when it comes to this. I mean, I loved The Force Awakens. I thought JJ, I thought he really nailed it. I loved, how he brought it back. Like you said, the whole excitement for it. And then I just think so many people had these specific expectations for The Last Jedi based on what JJ, had set up. And then Rian Johnson was kind of like, well, we're going to forget about all of that and, deal with it, I guess. I don't know. He had those, those the sunglasses that come down, deal with it. Yep. But, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy that JJ's back, because I think he does well with these types of films. I'm not like a huge Star Trek fan, but I did see the remakes of those movies, and I thought they were incredible. I really enjoyed those. But to say that he's gonna fix things, I mean, Star Wars is different for everybody, and to say that you're going to, solve a problem, I mean, yeah, it was controversial, but a lot of people liked it and a lot of people didn't. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is, but I think he'll do good, because he did well with Force Awakens, and I have faith. So,
all righty,
lovely.
Well, we got 2 votes of confidence and 1 reserved vote of confidence. All right, Heather, what else have we got on the news?
Yes, so Carla, you'll appreciate this as a Jawa looking for droids. Star Wars Hot Toys is releasing an R2-D2 deluxe figure in 2019. The Ultimate Edition to their collection. The version of the trusty droid comes with numerous attachments, light-up features, remote control sound effects, and a numerous amount of other swappable treads and pieces. Mm-hmm. A holographic Leia is also included.
What?
Is everyone sitting down? Take a breath. Let it absorb into your being. One will be a bent pose. The other is a standing pose. So you've got all of holographic Leia covered.
Stop it.
I know. Stop everything you're doing. It'll be on pre-orders soon. There's some great photos available. Did I see where this? Yeah, Star Wars Hot Toys. So I'm sure if you Google that, the new R2, you'll get to see some of the fun imagery and stuff.
It'll be all over our socials too. I'm sure.
WSTR
right,
Media, all lowercase, all one word. There it is.
Yep.
He looks fantastic. So this is going to be the droid you're looking for. So you may want to pre-order it because who knows how quickly it will go. Because Carla might buy a few herself just for the holographic Leia. It's hard to say. So I don't know what kind of feedback to provide other than Carla's really excited.
The Hot Toys are pretty cool. I know they just released a Bespin Leia one too. They're really detailed. So if you're into collecting those, this is definitely a must-have.
These are insanely detailed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Those
have to
are the
look
ones
at
that
this
you
later.
just puts on a shelf and don't touch that, honey. So anyway, Aaron, why don't you wrap up the news of the week here?
All right. This comes to us from Screen Rant. Bothans might not be aliens after all. So, Lucasfilm executive Matt Martin suggests that Bothans may not, in fact, be aliens. So, Bothans played a significant role in the Legend stories after getting name-dropped by Mon Mothma in Star Wars Return of the Jedi right before the Battle of Endor. She said many Bothans died to bring us this information, and that's about all we know about the Bothans in the existing canon. They're occasionally referenced, like in Star Wars The Clone Wars, when their home planet Bothawi is mentioned. However, fans never really see any of them in the animated show. I think you could play as them in the first Star Wars Battlefront on the PlayStation and Xbox. And they're kind of like these like furry goat-looking people. But I haven't really seen them pop up anywhere else. But a member of Zero Who's editorial team, otherwise known as the Star Wars Mythbusters, asked this Lucasfilm guy Martin on Twitter why the Bothans were not included in the Star Wars Alien Archive after they didn't show up, and Martin said that they have yet to show up in canon. However, maybe Bothans aren't even a species.
Dun dun dun. Ooh.
So seems like what he's saying is they might be another humanoid race of people or some other kind of classification and not an alien. So what do we all think about that?
I feel like they showed up in one of the books, but I don't know if it's canon or not. I remember reading about them. It was a little more in detail.
Might be Legends.
Might be, because I'm trying to think of like all of the canon books, but nothing's coming up. But yeah, they are. They're like those like furry looking things. Yeah, I don't know. It would be kind of cool to see them.
I'm looking up their entry on Wikipedia under canon, and there's not really much there. They provided the Rebel Alliance with useful information, such as a door code for the shield generator bunker, the plans for the Death Star. That's about it. So, do you think we'll get some Bothans in Episode 9?
That would be interesting.
Yeah. What if they save the rebellion yet again? And not be out of place.
We're tired of carrying the weight for you guys. Come on.
Yep.
Get it together.
That's awesome.
All right. With the news out of the way, let's move on to Cantina Chat. All right, so Carla, this is our segment to talk about all things geeky that we're up to, just casual chat. So what's been going on with you lately, or anything you're looking forward to?
So I had a super geeky weekend. I went up to Rhode Island Comic-Con in Providence.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second year going. And my boyfriend and I, we trooped with the New England Garrison and Alderaan base. And we had a great time. I mean, it was awesome. I went in Ray and the Jawa, and Mike went in his Resistance pilot, and he wore his Bith for like 10 minutes because it was really hot. But the coolest part was I got to meet Hayden Christensen and Gwendolyn Christie, and it was amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I got their autographs, and I even got to give them, so in the Legion, we have this thing with patches. Everybody makes, their own, and then different variants of it. So this year was actually the 501st NER's 15th year anniversary. So we made a special patch. It had like a Star Destroyer on it. So I got to give one to Hayden and Gwendolyn on behalf of the New Jersey chapter. So that was pretty cool.
Look at you go.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, Heather.
Rubbing elbows with celebrities. Yeah. I don't know. So I in my ever, quest to expand my knowledge, I recently finished a book for work, and so now I need a new book to read. So I delved into my brother's stash and found Star Wars: Heir to the Empire.
Yes. That is a very good read. You will not be disappointed.
So I am on page 5.
All right. Keep on trucking.
So I've started, people. So yeah, so
how you'd be
that's going to be my new...
Along? audibletrial.com/WSTR. Just saying. Just putting that out there.
Just saying. Just putting it out there into the world. Yeah. So that's my one, nerdy thing. And then I have started knitting a new project. I am making mittens with gnomes on them, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh my goodness. That's adorable.
That's my life, guys. Cats, knitting, a little bit of Star Wars.
I love your little knitted characters. They're so cute.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, that's it.
Alrighty.
That's my life.
Well, my Star Wars RPG group was finally able to get back together again. So we advanced the story a bit. The basic plot, it's kind of complicated, but the basic plot is our DM, he is running a campaign where it's basically a alternate history what if. So what if at the end of Empire Strikes Back, Luke turned to the dark side? And so our story has involved our characters who are not Jedi or Force-sensitive users, by the way, basically being hired by Leia to help rescue Han. And that led to a bunch of hijinks that included a run-in with the Emperor. And now we have just survived an attack on the last Rebel base, spearheaded by a bunch of Death Troopers from Rogue One and Luke himself. So we barely escaped from that one, and now we are wondering where we're going to go next.
Oh.
Story continues.
The story continues, yeah.
I like that.
So that's it for Cantina Chat. Now on to the Twitter Trash Compactor.
Get in there, you big polio! I don't care what you smell! Get in there and don't worry about it!
Yes. So last week, I sadly wasn't not at the episode, but we talked Star Wars video games. So Todd threw out the question, what is your favorite Star Wars video game of all time? With Twitter, they're allowed 4 options, but he also gave the option for write-ins. Looks like we have Knights of the Old Republic, Dark Forces, the X-Wing Flight Simulator, and the Lego Star Wars series. Now, I am not a video game player, but I totally would have voted for the Lego ones because they're just really cool in the way that they do that. But anyway, it looks like we only had one vote. Sad. Guys, get out there. Follow us on Twitter, WSTR Media. So with a landslide of one vote, the winning answer is the Lego Star Wars series.
Majority of one.
So that's what happens. Only takes one person to sway an entire thing.
Speaking of voting.
If I had Twitter, I would have voted.
There you go. Yeah, Carla, what would you have voted for?
Probably the X-Wing. Yeah.
All right.
Because I like the pod racing games, so I'm all about those.
Right on.
Excellent.
Speaking of voting, as of this recording, the entire country is going to be voting tomorrow. So
yeah.
By the time you hear this, I guess if you could still vote, go and do so.
Yes. Vote. Very important.
Yes.
All right, Heather, you want to wrap this up?
I'm going to put a bow on it. Here we go. Thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. Check us out on the social medias, WSTR Media. We still want to hear from you through commenting, tweeting, or rating us on iTunes. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com, leaving us a voicemail, 630-557-WSTR. 630-557-9787. Leave us an email, leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on an upcoming podcast, gathering our Star Wars celebration stories, as April is quickly approaching for Star Wars Celebration. And definitely check out our merch. Help a small podcast out. teespring.com/stores/WSTR Media. Carla, where can we find you on social media so that we can see all your trooping?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's at Carla Marie GIAC. Again, Carla Marie GIAC. Also, if you want to check out the Northeast Remnant Instagram, that's at 501st. So 501 ST_NER. And then the Rebel Legion New Jersey base is at Devaron base RL. Devaron is DEVARON base RL. So yeah, give us a follow.
Excellent. Thank you, Carla. It's been so much fun having you here. And thank you for joining us. And we can't wait to meet you at Celebration.
I'm super excited. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for coming along.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so happy you guys had me on. Like I said, I listened to you guys, going to work and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I want to get on there and talk to them. So I'm finally glad we made it happen. So,
yay. Very cool. So you know how to get a hold of us. You know how to find Carla and her troop teams. Next week, we've got episode 97, and I think we're going to talk about Star Wars. So don't miss out on that.
Yeah.
So Carla, you listen to us. So if you know what to do, but Aaron, let's end this the way that we end all of our episodes.
All right. Now this.
Here we go. Now this is podcasting. Yay!
I love it.
Let's all be Jawas next week, yeah?
Yeah.